Hey everyone, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. I guess recently Jamal Bryant's wife, Carrie Bryant, turned some heads by wearing a very revealing dress to the mayor, I guess the mayor of their city's masked ball. And a lot of people are calling her out because the dress is revealing and she is presenting herself as a woman of God. I feel the dress is very inappropriate for a woman in her position. Just because she can dress like that doesn't mean that she should. There's still a such thing as modesty. And the sad thing is the church, and particularly the Black church and the world, are intertwined. You cannot tell a lot of Christian people from the world nowadays. There used to be some sort of delineation back when I was a girl growing to church. It does not mean that just because a woman had a dress on down to her ankles and she was covered up to her neck doesn't mean that she was a good person necessarily, but there was still some sort of propriety in the way that a woman who presented herself as a Christian woman dressed. Now, given who her husband is, Jamal Bryant, I'm not surprised that he would choose a woman who dresses like this. And I remember when I was first introduced, not literally, but I'm just, found out who he was through watching his first wife, Giselle Bryant, on Real Housewives of the Potomac. And, and I discovered that she was the first wife of a church. And after looking at her character on the show, I was like, what type of first wife is this? But when I have since watched some of Jamal Bryant's sermons online, he does not strike me as a actual Bible believing Christian. And I realize that God knows the heart, but from what I have seen of him, he is a social activist. He is not a preacher, not a Bible believing preacher, because I have heard some of his sermons, which were absolutely disgusting and non-biblical. And so again, I get street hustler vibes from him and social activist, but not a pastor. So it's not surprising that his wife would dress like this. And his first wife would be a messy Mary, as she is on that show. So I remember years ago, I used to watch Michael Baisden, but I got tired of him. And I'll say why in a minute. But he used to talk about pimps in a pulpit. And it used to bother me because, being a person that grew up in the church, grew up with, pastors around me, what Michael Baisden used to describe pastors, those weren't the pastors that I knew. The pastors that I knew were very clearly in tune with the Bible. They wanted to live righteous. They lived righteous. Does not mean that they were perfect. That has nothing to do with being perfect, because nobody is perfect. But at the same time, as a woman who is a first lady of a church, again, there's a such thing as modesty. And that dress is not modest and is giving men an eyeful, men who might struggle with lust or whatever. And, so I was reading a lot of the comments online, and the amount of women who are defending her just lets me know that there are a lot of worldly, carnal Christians out here. And I don't even know if these women were Christians. They might just be chiming in and they don't understand the ramifications of how you're supposed to present yourself as a woman of God. You should not be out here looking like a whole 304, because that's what she looks like. Again, just because she can wear it doesn't mean that she should. There are young ladies who are looking up to her, but again, the black church and the world, they are so closely intertwined and related to each other that you can't even look at a Christian a lot of times in the black community and distinguish them from the world. You just can't. And I think that that's sad. And this is a prime example. Carrie Bryant's in this dress. The dress is beautiful. It is. But for a first lady of a church, but then I'm using church loosely because her husband, in my opinion, he is a social activist. He's not a pastor. And that's my topic.